What is going on, guys? Fernando Silva here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Magic Keyboard. The Magic Keyboard released in April 22nd of 2019, so it's been about 9 months since it's been released to everybody, since it's been released to the public, and I've had it since day one. And I want to walk you guys through my experience with the Magic Keyboard and kind of talk about all the main points that you would want to know when spending $350 on a product that's already been out for 9 months. So let's get right into it. In order to break this review down a little bit easier, I'm going to break this down into 5 different categories. So the categories that we're going to work with are versatility, typing on the keyboard itself, the trackpad itself, overall durability, and then also future compatibility, because we want to know if you're going to spend $350 on an accessory that it's going to work with future iterations of that product, right? And so far, compatibility has been pretty good, and it's getting better and better, but we still don't know what that future compatibility looks like. But let's get right into the first category, which is versatility. So in my opinion, aside from the build quality, the biggest actual selling point of the Magic Keyboard is the versatility of it. When Apple first released this Magic Keyboard, everybody was going crazy. They were thinking, whoa, look at this floating keyboard, iPad, computer design, like what are we getting ourselves into here? But the versatility of the Magic Keyboard is actually amazing, and it's so many steps above the Slim Folio keyboard that we used to spend $180 to $200 on. And yes, they gave you like one more mode that we're missing on the Magic Keyboard, but overall versatility is amazing, right? You get full viewing angles from 0 to, I believe it's 130 degrees. And that 0 mark maybe doesn't get to 0, but the viewing angles can get to like 30 degrees. So you can easily have this Magic Keyboard laying on your chest while in bed, and then you're watching YouTube or Netflix or whatever the case may be, which is something you couldn't do with the last case. So that is a huge improvement. So viewing angles galore. And another aspect of versatility is how you use a Magic Keyboard, right? A lot of people use it as a case itself. People use it for an on-the-go, in-the-bag case as well. People use it as a docking solution, so they'll leave the Magic Keyboard just on their desk plugged in, and they'll just dock their iPad whenever they're ready to sit down and actually get some work done and make sure that the iPad is charging. So there's many different ways to use a Magic Keyboard other than just a keyboard itself, and I use it a lot as just a stand. Yes, it's an expensive $350 stand, but whenever I'm ready to actually switch to the iPad Pro, it's ready to go, even when I'm just using it as a stand. So now let's talk about the actual typing experience of the Magic Keyboard. The typing experience is actually amazing. I love the typing experience. I do a ton of typing on it, and I'm gonna let you guys listen to exactly what it sounds like right now. So as you guys saw, they have a decent amount of travel. They're very similar to the keyboards that you get on the current lineup of MacBooks and MacBook Airs. I haven't had any issues with any of the keys. No dirt or debris is underneath the keys because they're such low profile, but there's still about a millimeter of travel, which for my opinion is plenty when it comes to actually typing on this keyboard, and it's such a pleasant experience. And you would think that the fact that the keyboard is so flat, right? There's no angle on the keyboard, there's nothing to kind of really elevate it and give you that better ergonomic feel. But overall, I love the fact that it's flat. I don't know what it is, but it's so flat that it feels like I'm almost typing into the desk or into the table that I'm using the keyboard on. But overall, I have zero complaints about the keyboard. You have a few customizable keys now on the keyboard through software. And yes, we're missing the function rows, but it's something that we're gonna have to live without, and I don't think Apple's gonna bring it anytime soon, at least not for the iPad. So for what you get, the keyboard itself is magnificent as a typing machine, and if you guys are looking for a typing solution, this is the best one that I found in terms of actual overall feel. And then let's segue from the actual typing experience over to the trackpad experience, because the trackpad experience was the one thing that before I purchased it, even though I knew I was gonna purchase the Magic Keyboard, it was the one aspect where I thought like, hey, this mouse or this trackpad is tiny, right? Looking at all the renders, looking at all the images that Apple released during pre-order, the trackpad looked so small, it looked unusable, right? And I've played around with Surface products before, and the Surface products have very little trackpads, especially in the very infancy of the Surface line really coming to fruition. The trackpads were tiny and they were so unusable, and they were made out of plastic, and I hated the experience of the trackpad, and that's why I never went towards a Surface. So then the Magic Keyboard comes in, and the trackpad is not your typical point-and-click trackpad, right? The trackpad is used very, very differently than a normal every single day trackpad. This is very gesture-based, so it's almost as if the trackpad is an extension of the screen, and it just brings the screen a little bit closer to you, so you're a little more efficient when you're working on it, right? So all the gestures are there. 2-finger gestures, 3-finger gestures, swiping left, swiping right, swiping down, swiping up, swiping from the corners. It works amazingly. The gestures work great, and then even as a point-and-click mouse solution, I'm surprised that I'm not complaining more about the size. The size, I don't know if I got used to the size or maybe if I'm not yearning for more, but there was never an instance where I was like, I wish the trackpad was bigger. I just haven't had that instance, and I don't know why. Maybe it's like the software inertia that the mouse has inside of the operating system. But overall, the trackpad from a software standpoint is amazing, and also from a hardware, because it's not a classic dive board design, right? So you normally with older trackpads, less quality trackpads, it's a dive board design, so normally only 2/3 of the trackpad is usable. And in this case, the entire trackpad is usable. From the top right corner to the bottom left corner to right dead in the center, the entire trackpad is usable from both a physical click standpoint and a tap to touch standpoint. So the trackpad technology, Apple's been making trackpads for forever that have been, best in class on their MacBook computers, on their MacBook Airs, MacBook Pros. So when they brought it over to the iPad Pro, it was a seamless transition, and the way they integrated their mouse and cursor technology on the iPad OS is the way that it should be done on all operating systems. And then let's talk about category 4, which is durability. And I think this is I think this category is probably the most impactful, right? Because when you're purchasing something for $350, especially when it's an accessory, you expect it to last a long time. You expect it to be extremely quality. You expect it to be exactly what you're paying for, if not better. You expect it to get better over time, and you expect it to last. So my overall experience is that it has lasted great. Yes, it's got a decent amount of smudges. It's got a little bit of gunk on the sides and things like that, but that's all aesthetic issues, not functional issues. Because from a durability standpoint, both of the hinges, to my surprise, have been perfect, and they've been pretty much as if they were there from day one, right? So the main hinge, I didn't have too many worries about because of how thick that main hinge is and how the hinge technology works. But the biggest issue, or the biggest question mark I had, is that secondary hinge, which is a lot thinner. That secondary hinge is so thin, and I don't know how Apple did it, but it feels so sturdy. And you guys will see in all the B-roll that I move it like crazy with and without the iPad. I have had zero issues with it. It's never fallen off. It's never felt weak. And overall, I'm just super impressed with the quality that Apple has been able to push through. I know a lot of people don't like what the material is made out of. It's like that soft, rubbery, leathery material. I don't really know how to describe it, but I kind of like it. Yes, it attracts smudges and fingerprints, but I'm okay with it. You can just kind of wipe it away, and it's pretty water resistant, I would say, especially on the outsides. I wouldn't get water on the keyboard or the trackpad, but if you splash some water on the outside of it, you're gonna be okay. And then another big question about the durability are the magnets. So as you guys know, the way that the actual iPad Pro stays on the Magic Keyboard is purely on magnets. So the magnets have to stay strong, they cannot degrade, and it's gotta be able to hold safely, with confidence, your $1,000 iPad Pro, if not more. So again, my news to bring to you guys from an experience standpoint, the magnets have held true, magnets are strong. I've never had the actual iPad fall off of it, at least not from the purpose of the magnets. Maybe I was like moving it around too much and it's probably fallen once or twice, but that's not the magnet's fault, it's my fault, right? So from a magnet standpoint, the magnets are super strong, they're still very, very clicky, they work well. So all in all, the magnets are staying strong, and they're very, very durable. It gets my stamp of approval in terms of longevity, at least up to 9 months, and I don't really see it getting any less quality or loosening up the magnets or loosening up the hinges or something happening. I just don't see it, because so far it's been sturdy, and I haven't seen like the graph over time go down. It's stayed pretty much at 100% from a durability and magnet standpoint. And then the final category is gonna be future compatibility, right? So there's a big issue with this $350 accessory, because as you guys can see, I'm still using the 2018 model iPad Pro, and it does fit onto the 2020 Magic Keyboard, but you see that there's a little bit of a weird hole in the back, because the cutout on the back is for that dual camera system with the LiDAR scanner on the 2020 iPad Pro, but that's okay, it works on there. And you can also get the iPad Air 4 to work on the 11-inch Magic Keyboard. But the worry is that Apple's gonna release maybe something in March of this year, of 2021, a new iPad Pro, and they're saying, maybe it's not gonna fit this Magic Keyboard, and maybe you're gonna have to go out and buy a whole new keyboard solution for this new iPad Pro, which I'm hoping is not the case. And I really don't think Apple's gonna put us through that, especially with an accessory that's less than a year old. They're not gonna put us through a whole other purchasing whirlwind or circle or cycle that we're gonna need to get into, because it's already getting hard enough to recommend iPad Pros over the M1 MacBook Air in terms of price. So I don't think Apple would kind of put the users through that, especially if they want their iPads to continue to sell, because it's the only tablet on the market that is worth your money, in my opinion. So in terms of compatibility, if you guys have, let's say, a 2018 iPad Pro and are on the fence about getting a Magic Keyboard because you're gonna get the 2020 iPad Pro or the 2021 iPad Pro, and you guys are worried that the 2021 iPad Pro won't fit that Magic Keyboard when you're gonna get that one, then maybe it's worth holding off. But I do believe that 2021 iPad Pro will be compatible with this Magic Keyboard. I just don't think Apple would put their users through something like that, and I could be incorrect, Don't quote me on it, but that's just my personal opinion. But that's pretty much going to do for this video, everybody. As you guys saw, overall, the Magic Keyboard has held up wonderfully when it comes to longevity, durability, usability, and then hopefully compatibility as it goes on, because it has improved over time. It has added more compatibility when the new iPad Air 4 came out. So let's hope that future iterations of iPad Pros and iPad Airs will work with this Magic Keyboard, and we're not going to have to go out and buy a new one, guys. But like I said, that's going to do for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out channel sponsor Paperlike if you guys want to, protect your iPad screen, whether it's an iPad 8th gen or 9th gen or the highest line 2020 iPad Pro that's worth $1,500, guys. Protect it with a screen protector from Paperlike. But that's going to do for the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Peace.